Alright, welcome back to my series on my collection of video games. So you saw my Wii, my GameCube, my Xbox, my DS, and my PSP games. Now we come to the biggest pile of them all, my PS2 games. In this I'm also going to show you my PS1 games, just because I don't have too many and I only really started collecting them after I owned a PS2 and got into RPGs, because that's mostly what I have. So, first we got Final Fantasy Anthology, which is, of course, Final Fantasy 5 and 6. I played 5. 5 wasn't too bad. I haven't played 6 yet, but I really should, because apparently it's like the best one, so I'll get to that sometime. Next is Final Fantasy Chronicles, which is, of course, Final Fantasy 4, and of course the best RPG of them all, Chrono Trigger. I really wish they would make a third Chrono, but oh well. Next we got, of course, the god of Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 7, and in my personal opinion, I do say it is the best one, so I do agree with all of you Final Fantasy 7 enthusiasts out there. Next is Final Fantasy 8, which I have to say looks really good for a PS1 game, but I don't think it's the best in the series. Some people think it's the best in the series. I really don't. It's not to say it's bad, I just don't think it's the best one. Next is Final Fantasy IX, which I started, but I haven't been playing. Maybe I should get back to playing it. I'm not too far in this game, so whatever. I'll get to finishing it sometime. And if anyone's wondering why I have my hand on my chest, it's because I'm trying to hold the mic there, my cheap-ass mic, which only cost me about $20, which I really needed at the time. So that's why there's just a mic under my shirt. I don't really feel like holding it in my other hand. Way too lazy. Next we got Legend of Dragoon, which I haven't played, and I really don't plan on playing because I've heard nothing but bad things about it. But maybe some of you out there can convince me to play it, I guess. Next is Parasite Eve, which I also haven't played yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about, so I really gotta get to playing it. Next up is Chrono Cross, which, if you've seen the reviews on GameSpot for this game, it got a perfect 10. I wouldn't say it deserves a perfect 10, but it is definitely an excellent RPG, and when I was playing it, I couldn't put it down, so if you like RPGs at all, you owe it to yourself to pick this game up if you can find it. And that's it for my PS1 games. I do actually have a few more, but I don't know where they are right now. The ones that come to the top of my head are Crash Bandicoot 2, Spiral 1 and 2, and probably it, actually. So, on to the PS2 games. First up, Shadow Hearts Covenant, which I got halfway through it. I got to about the second disc, and I don't know, my second disc doesn't seem to be working, so maybe I should trade it in for a new copy or something, but like I said, I'm way too lazy. Way too lazy. And there's an EB Games pretty much right across my street. Or up my street, I should say. But, whatever. Next up is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, which I gotta say is probably the best Dragon Ball Z game in the series. And I mean out of all of them. I mean going way back to the NES, if you've played any of those, the NES, SNES, Genesis, PlayStation, any of those, I say Budokai 3 is definitely the best one out of every Dragon Ball Z game that's ever come out. Next up is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, which it's not too bad, but I still, like I said, Budokai 3 is definitely the best one. the Lucas transformation is really a pain in the ass. Next up is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2, which definitely improves on the system, but still pretty much the same old game. And I actually picked this up for my brother just this weekend, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I kind of got out of the whole Dragon Ball Z thing, but I'm always up to play them. I did play a bit of this. It seems that every character, including the extremely weak ones if you've ever watched the anime or read the manga, is in this game. From what I've seen, it improves a little bit on the system. It seems more Dragon Ball Z-ish, I should say. But still, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 is definitely the best in the series. I also had Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1, 2, and Dragon Ball Z Sagas, but those got traded in. Sagas for obvious reasons if you've played it. Next is Jak and Daxter, which is quite a really good platformer. I'm not too much into platformers, and usually the ones I really enjoy are the ones back on the N64. So Jak and Daxter kind of rekindled my love for platformers. Next up is Jak 3. You're probably wondering where Jak 2 is. I do have Jak 2, although I can't find it. It's probably with one of my brother's friends right now. But yeah, so I do have Jak 2, and I do have Jak 3. Also very, very good games. I think Jak 2 is the best in the series. And this I got from my brother also 2 years ago, Jak Team Racing, which I'm not too fond of.